To earn his girlfriend's father's approval, he picked up a hunting rifle and aimed at a glass bottle 15 meters away.
Yeah, well, that was close.
He didn't realize that he'd actually hit it. The father-in-law just didn't say so, deliberately withholding the truth to make things difficult for the soldier dating his daughter. This wasn't the first time either. The very first time the young man had visited their home, even though the daughter had invited him as a guest. Her father made him wash the dishes after dinner. The girl was clearly uncomfortable, her eyes full of protest, but her father, normally so perceptive, was uncharacteristically stubborn. Wanting to win his approval, the young man obediently picked up the dishes without complaint. The second meeting came a few nights later. Again, after dinner, the young man dutifully washed the dishes. But just as he was about to leave, the father suddenly made another unreasonable request. He asked the boy to help clean the garage. Wanting to impress him, the young man agreed, even though it was already almost 11 p.m. and he had class at 6 the next morning. But when the father opened the garage door, the young man froze. It was an absolute mess. Piles of junk scattered everywhere. Cleaning it would take all night, even with 2 people. Yet the father didn't intend to help. He left the entire task to the exhausted young man and only provided a few trash bags. At first, the young man thought it was some kind of test. So, for the sake of love, he stayed and cleaned all night. But his effort didn't soften the old man's heart. It only made him more demanding. On the third visit, the father didn't even invite him inside. Instead, under the scorching summer sun, he made the young man pull weeds by hand from the front yard while he stood comfortably in the shade, sipping a Coke. The young man had no choice but to continue working until a sharp thorn suddenly stabbed his hand. He hadn't done anything wrong, but in the father's eyes, his biggest sin was falling in love with his daughter. The man was a strict, old-fashioned father. His 40 years of military service had convinced him that soldiers were womanizers and liars who could never truly love a woman. He also knew his daughter was beautiful, and dating men was inevitable. But he believed it was his duty as a father to warn her for her own good. His only rule: never date a soldier. And Jane, being an obedient daughter, followed that rule until one day, fate intervened, and a beautiful encounter changed everything.